Phil Lyne now getting ready. Phil is currently in the lead for the all-around championship.
I started in the showmanship, and then of course got into high school rodeos and then college and then PRCA. A guy named Larry Mullen and I was living together, and he went off to an RCA rodeo one weekend, and then when he comes in, well, he's got the application filled out. Joe Green had signed it and some other guys, and to get me a RCA card. And I never thought about it, you know, really. I just said, okay, and I did it. And the first rodeo was Fort Worth. I had my calf on the ground and strung and 2 wraps on him that went around, I bet you about a second. And I missed my hoodie 4 times, stood up 4 times, and I think I ended up being 12-6 or 12-8, didn't even place in the round. But it was a good lesson. I didn't do that anymore. I placed on my first bareback horse. I won 4th on him and I won 3rd on my second one, and was setting second average, and bucked off my 3rd horse, and I had a really nice bull right there to the left, and I fell off him about 7.5 seconds. I should have won a lot of money, but I got a little bit, but not that much. Wade Lewis and I took off that summer and made some rodeos, and I stayed around fairly close to home. And Bo Ashhorn, Sean Davis, Paul Mayo and I was sitting in a motel room in El Paso, was at the rodeo, and called in to see how we drawed up. And after it's over, well, we all talked about how we're glad nobody drew up that Saturday morning performance, especially in the ride events, because we usually had all junk out then, you know. But I was up that afternoon, so we was talking about, you know, all need to do is get up and leave in time to get down there for that afternoon performance. And I said, well, I'd like to get there in time to watch the score so I could see, you know, how to get out. And so we did. We left. When we got there, I ran in the building and the calf roping was going on. And I ran down there to the roping box, and the announcer said, Phil Lyne is not here, turn his calf out. And boy, they opened that gate, and Leon Barley looked at me and he said, they just turned your calf out. And I said, well, I'm not up until this afternoon. And he said, well, Guy Weeks was a flagman. So Leon said, well, we'll talk to him. So I went over there and talked to Guy, and we'll go get Paul and Sean, and we'll go up there and talk to the secretary, and she could have made a mistake. Well, you can have your calf over, because I could have jumped on the pickup horse or anybody's, and they didn't call my name 3 times. They just said turn him out, and that was it. We talked to the secretary, and she looked at me and she said, I don't make mistakes. And Guy Weeks looked at me and said, I guess that's it. It's over. So I had to turn everything out in San Antonio. Said I was up to 4th. We had it wrote down on a piece of paper and everything, but turned everything out. That was part of my rookie deal. I don't know. I thought everybody was possibility of making a mistake, maybe, but not her. Most of the time I was working the calf roping, the bull riding, and the bareback riding. You know, I hear people talk about you got to learn how to rodeo, you got to learn how to enter this and that. It don't take Einstein to figure all that out. And then, you know, well, you got to trade out rodeo. Well, if you can get traded, I don't know how everything's different from when I rodeoed and when it is now, you know. If you can get traded, and then like there are 2 hitters, you know, the second round, you know, if you get traded with somebody and rodeo 2 on down the road, they need a trade from you. If you can give it to them, you better give it. I mean, you need to give it to them. Pretty easy to do. If somebody, you know, could help you, they'd help you, but you always, next time you help them too.
Lyne of George West, Texas.
It was just rodeoing. I started rodeoing amateur probably when I was 14 and making 2 or 3, 4 rodeos a weekend. And it was like a lot of kids never got that. did that, but I did that for a long time before I ever got into RCA. You know, you can figure it out, and it's not that difficult. I don't think. You know, some people talk about, you know, they have to learn how to win. Well, you know, you don't shoot yourself in the foot. It's a lot easier to win than if you beat yourself. I can tell you what my rookie year, but it was my next year. You know, the biggest thing that helped my bull riding was moving my hand over to where my ring finger and my little finger was split the backbone on that bull's back. And George Paul showed me that. And it might not fit anybody else, but that gun sure fit me a lot. I mean, I rode better that way. Well, I rode very good anyway, but I rode better that way than I did the other way, you know. Basics, but a lot of people don't know the basics.
How many times did you win the average calf rope?
Well, I won it once and third once. Well, wait a minute. I think I won it once and third once. I won it once, but I think third the other time. Same way in the bull riding. Won the bull riding and third one time.
You won the average in the calf rope and then the average in the bull riding the same?
Yeah. Well, see, in Ace Berry did it in the bareback riding and team roping that year.
Same year?
Same year. A lot of guys that rode Kids and Bulldog, and there was a lot of guys that rode bareback horses, saddle broncs, or rode bareback horses and bulls, or worked 2 or 3 of the riding events, but not many of them worked a riding event and a time event. You know, I think it's something that you have to really like to do. I mean, if you want to rope kids, you know, if you're going to be pretty decent, you got to put a lot of effort into it. Well, if you want to ride bulls, you know, you got to put some effort into it. But take your calf ropers, your team ropers. There's some of those boys in team roping that they might ride bareback horse, saddle broncs, or bulls pretty good. You know, you don't ever know. You know, guys show up tomorrow. Well, I was tickled to death. You know, I loved rodeo. I loved to do it, and it was just a big plus for me. I never really expected it. I was just there doing the best I could do. You know, I wasn't thinking about winning the rookie or winning the world or winning this or winning. You know, I was just there trying to do the best I could do, and then they called and told me I'd run the rookie, and you know, it was tickled the hell out of me. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of good people, and had a lot of good friends. You know, I mean, you know, if I start naming names, you can't hardly do it. But you know, I got to know Jim Shoulders, Harry Tompkins, you know, George Paul, all those guys. I mean, you just go on and on and on. You know, if I had to do all over again, you know, yeah, there's a couple little things I might, you know, I'd have changed. You know, wish I wouldn't have stood up 4 times at Fort Worth, my string in my hand. You know, I've got a wonderful wife. I've got 2 wonderful daughters and 4 grandkids, and everybody's healthy and everybody's good. Everything's good. I get to hunt. Got some good buddies I hunt them coyotes with, and I got some good cur dogs, or pretty good cur dogs, let's put it that way. Anyway, everything's good. Life's good. This is Phil Lyne. I was 1969 Resistol Rookie of the Year. They just had one at that time. And anyway, I was glad to be there and glad it turned out that way.
We live it every day.